The story of several known anti-corruption crusaders appointed within the presidency who appear to have made little or no impact in mitigating the current perception of corruption in the presidency. I refer also to one anti-corruption activist of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. In his most recent public statement, Mr. Badwam appears less enthusiastic in urging leadership to lead in the fight against corruption. The presidential advisor on corruption advocates that systems rather than the president himself should lead the fight against corruption. He adds that it is undemocratic to expect the presidency to lead the anti-corruption drive. Mahama is not a judge, he says. And with such a lame excuse for the lack of anti-corruption initiatives within the presidency, one would indeed wonder whether the terms of reference in Badwam's appointment letter would be, since his boss is not a judge. But need I forget Boabia Samoa, formerly also of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, whose credentials may have led to his appointment within the presidency of the Kufuor government, working in the office of the vice president. His impact on the anti-corruption within the Kufuor presidency, like others, remains unknown. So is the accountability office that was established within that presidency. The purchase of scores of luxury vehicles as part of national projects, most of which end up as personal property of government appointees, even when they are no longer in that portfolio. The use of a whopping $1.5 million in the purchase of luxury vehicles for a single electrification project could not have been comforting to the taxpayer. So long as this continues with impunity, the blame will be put at the door of the presidency.
I don't agree with that. I think that there is some presupposition that when somebody is accused of something, it is a definite decision or it's a definite situation where the person is actually indicted and found guilty. We definitely believe that when somebody is corrupt, he should be exposed. It is our avowed expectation that corrupt people should be punished for it. The law must be made to work. In the case of situations where people are accused and the public have doubts about who the credentials or the credibility of that person, the person should no longer be in office. To the extent that he interacts with the public as if nothing has happened, some decision has to be taken. But until a clear-cut decision is taken that that fellow is guilty of a certain crime spelled out by law, you cannot, by all measure of imagination, accuse the person of being guilty of a particular crime. So if the presidency thinks that somebody is no longer fit for a certain job, especially because of failures to deliver according to policy prescriptions, and the presidency withdraws the person, it will not suggest that that fellow was particularly corrupt and failed as a corrupt person and therefore sent to the presidency, as a safe haven.
The Ministry of Education has attempted to suggest that this policy is only under consideration. Unfortunately for the Ministry of Education, in its spin business, the universities across this country are processing the fees of students for the next academic year. And this includes the cost of utility bills for the next academic year. And this is outrageously being pegged as an average of 550 Ghana cedis per student across tertiary institutions. Again, this is outrageous. The government of Ghana has failed on its pledge to cushion education of its citizens by bearing the cost of utility bills, and the government of Ghana's financial indiscipline shall not be the latent drive of the government to pass on its social compact expectations on its citizens.
Okay, so Yasaba 1760 your text message line February Njibre and Kinkanina and for my brother say Yade and Pensemu Jumedini Bromeka say Lucky Herbal Clinic for one other and Sankita Jerry Yede Brown. My main cow said on the 1st of May, Lucky Herbal Force one day she share Guaquema, more tema, and a Bronoa who do a travel sharing free health screening on May Day. Make sure, say Obeba, now Wabersha Wapom Diho and Sem. Into Friday, 1st May, and upon also Pepe Copim said Don Cobebo, our Tema Community 2, one of Bambia Canina Adom from one the Mono Club and a share. Well, Yadibia, Dane Cranko, and Bra, Yanya Shemu, and Fama or Quanso Kosukra. Fred Dr. Yabua or 0243201244, 0243201244, and 0277465855. Now, no needs also. A Jordan day, Nimsujame Adoma, a fisem on Badwam goes antenatal to Emma Aha or Hania Junum 150. Yeshemo kwa yenyeshi yegusudi ade sede 20 multi TV anime ya mumra na saa nneoma no hu hia pa yi awo ho nsem obra wo awie wo kowo saa nkomo no saa nimde no saa kwankyere ne emma ho nkomo dodo na no ene apomuden ho nsem dodo na ye be ho adwuma nyame adoma dwade de animia no anopa no nwotwe wo multi TV anim hanum sei na bibia ekoso kama na ne abefo ba be kyeremu yi e de akyere ba de oyoba 150 mobile no kaneno ehwem free of charge. Na me adom so a memenda we a ewo eye kronom afrancho Stephen Amwa do na friend sticker ne papa da form yenko na yenko ta na chiwa kwanso kosokra bra okopa ne papa ne cry bread bra so si edi yenkomo me gidi se why crowd also do adwenkyere ebeba but bibia da de me kan se ya de se de na de bia da de mamu ofise mo ya mayen ukujina kwa pem south na no da mi yi masochi se mon koso nya saa enfamayen esompa de udi ho adanse a de bia da no akoma eto yem nti titiu eye MPP delegates amo akwa pem south adesede no etiawa ne se akwapa no kwafo munim anamo a watu munim aye ayonkogura ewo munte munim mpuntu a wamiemia ne nsase na in the midst of all the challenges as a country ye kom no operate do na so eba eye akwapem south eno achi ade ba akọ eda na koma so ye mabunu iyedie ene won kanko mba ofa mabunu no nyina en block a ma so akoma asem ho asem da na koma so se ma benya nimdie na won tutem abo afie enti titu eye adesua ena e fare ban no afi party na nkasa MPP party ni mpuntu so da na koma so enti ye besre se akansie ni base ya ye nkasa ezi enwuma na be dadi enti moma enwuma ne nadi na afi moma yen kroso sa ahoma no na moma yen ehu se ampa enwuma no aso ani ye be ya na sometimes so party don't ntimi kan se ye be ya ade ese fata na ebe be du breti se mu a mo so be da odo ade a kire no na akoye but then para kwa south MPP delegates ene mo hwe aboma ba bia dunu de munsumye na mumpegyae na onfa yenko honorable obiamwa akwaba bibia eboko
ya boko kam
osefata
campaign manager
eno no asem no
o campaign yes
so I don't fall within the category mo national executives no aye
akase we be campaign
akwanya manya me no di nkomo both on air and off air sa kutangudi amenya na Ghana ho asem da wakoma so constituency ho asem titu mabunu yiedie ni onkoso no using the right methods and process no inti ayonkofa no ehun sunsun so be say tre not necessarily a capim south nko a spill over ne back Ghana for inti na me kasa de but me gidi say enwuma so a waye no ene oni omuntamu ayonkofa no ebeboa amwati manya the needed endorsement and a percentage ebemu across so.
That's the show.
But if you go there,
you have a call.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on. Says Ghana. I've been being able to be a kind.
Still.
I've
been doing. What the buy?
Ghana hard.
Still. Also, you Ghana review. Still, another hard buy. I just see hard review. Still, it's on the code. I see. Still Ghana hard. Okay, Ghana still Ghana hard.
Oh, no more be near Kumudia. Will be a bacasa no ma kuye biano na ebi on ti Ghana me sure say man pain John Mahama kra say no man kuye and pa no bi say nti homo ana ga ban on drumming and noise making I'm say 11th May and I shall say no see na generator so ka ho ana
asempa no abusa no
generator dey
there's a doom and can generator na within that time no but no better as say generator dey you will confirm by who did it buy noise making no to ban on noise and drumming no e be affecting na hey we na mother man tempa because TC mian bi o ma ban na dey generator see
and go drums crack ya go patch o there
ampa we ya to say the chop contem na mtiase
yes I there
asempa no
dey there be ban chain sorry ni drumming
I see asempa still Ghana hard about to be because
IMF better chiro koma o me ya chomse no man kuyi ndio
what is the problem with IMF when I go for IMF in December
the man na what say o ma ko bila to na kese no ho atom ko bila
but president Amaya
hu nya si wo Greece
president Amaya ho to so say dede bia ni IMF hye
o dede wo mpa dede also your budget ado ba kwachiro mo so mo prince ansa budget no wa mo ano ya cho letter wa finance minister oni
ba ehona ya na de bia me wo ha okaka na bi say utie man panya especially omko senche ban ana mo ase so omutu no eno no omutu na evident there etwamu ana bi hia sa hye no me giri se mo apel so kra mutu ana mo nko hepik
se shasi aka na shasi
de ka ye didi nkomo na ye didi
o hwe Greece se ni asi o ho a etu aban kra ama aban foforo e ba no omo kan se omo de me keep promises say bia e akọ share bail out no Europe no e be trans no maka bio na emian na komo for no man for no tuma aban foforo aba no na aban foforo aba no ni you know pem so about bail out nti bail out de ko wura mu na chese ho na achew e say akopelo ya say ompo obo be bail ye ho aton yange nko IMF because last 2 years aban obeti bia o ye homegrown IMF de omo ye den ye nko IMF in fact the man time tama EPN is for Tuliman. One of the reasons the Tuliman said he was attempting to go to IMF. Yes, what quite crowd or the night attempt. To IMF the answer was so you say no man koi MPP buy no na akase be clear keke because na near cost nyina ache say happy inflation na be 46%. A card ho bubuja na bibia interest rate boom triple. Engineer donor community in kind say mo economy ni edu ide mo ama IMF amema yeso e ka bebre ho a o se de chemne bi fa nchemu because ye fa nchemu na mo koye na mo pe tumbe se de mo ka chemu na mo tumi simu na so dia o se mo nya obi o ba behwe mo economy ne so na bibia o de akonoma market ni any option bia na de kom by 2002 near meet decision point no by 2004 near free mu near starting kaka it was letter 10th March finance minister and the governor one match track say Cecilia near do there this a mubam now I'm a fabam on the conditions at all more try how you even rationalize the wage rationalize the labor force any no be blamba ya aka ho na me fisa sana mo ka ya asum na say de mama say no man growth that mo start kiki you will do for time pa o the immediate pastor na see no growth ne do 4% pe ti sana mo abe de a say mo ahwe a bi abe say ti ne mo abe transe si kana de ba be shem no de be shem bia be market ya market nso ne ma donor community no copy ena ma donor community nso enya re mu say say no munya supervisor or hemuso na mu di so dia ene so kakra e wona ya jeje free Ama said the Bremono. And said the amount.
So IMF never micromanage Ghana CC.
Then micromanage Ghana CC.
How? Until moment they had no man Jamusana with this neighbor.
Oh, sir, you know, you're a brava boss. I'm more brave, yes, sir. I'm more brave, yeah, as an opana. Obi aso kra na about fi abehwese e wa prapra ho a prapra ho no wasi no ma wadware ho ate o apepa a wo kwa adwuma nya so kwa akoto bi abeda ho awe na wi Adam pem se ne de mitimi kwa adwuma go wi mitimi kwa adwuma sa wo ha na de data bill se kwa yi wadi na asem na se kra
oka ni peku a omo so susue ni se sa yankofa ni IMF nyai eno ebe ma insurance ba se nipa dodo na be hwere won adwuma titu aban adwuma efo
oh say and the way no man there me anya mo wase be ka se ebi no firi adwuma because nkura wo no so se adwuma bi wo ho a e fabroso adwuma bi wo a e fabroso bi kra ati se party 7 ne unu ni no ma no nipa no adwuma nipa me no betima ye no kwa nipa be du ne do man kogu mo motete ho usumi so here say betu amoka payroll no there the nipa gusu a probably they don't even deserve to be on the payroll until do so akọ show bi anum say omo awa so be kan say nipa fa bebre no they say no to make it sound so palatable then come on here no it's a rationalize right size it's a downsize ko ejaika it's a right size the more high maybe see any pedia it's a more 50 wa ha you rationalize it 50 na one obi adwuma be na oye right size it maybe we na bia akata 30 it's a 20 ni enya ba bi ma mo nshenti mo nyimu package na mo nko we've gone through this before pants card ni ne kaka ho buy nyina at the end of the day no because IMF the IT say fire service ofie hia na afra omo ahwa baba mbe dum je na wie no Thomas say no mo ofie ho nyina what who's kaka mo de ba be so mo dum ja no kakra ono makakra kan kwa no wo ya ho hwie nyi etu obi obaka say the only good thing about IMF no say ya jatum say we cannot manage ourselves,
but that's not good.
they should help us manage. If we listen to them probably first term of Professor Moss, one of the reasons Anabi Abaka indicators in good, they say we're still being shepherded by IMF. By July, they no end the program. The last 6 months, we were not under IMF. And what happened? And no, you have a public accounts committee. Who control accountant general? Adena bibia ministry bia overspend here. But yeah, I mean, crime minimum. I'm saying election year in intra. That's how she's quoted to have said at the public accounts committee. No, so mama on Monday. On go for reasons in winter overspending. Until last 6 months of election year, Dana, yen should be asking any panel. See how reckless we were. Since you know, my report be out there coming be out. Was it 2012? 17 in Tina. 2012 is 7 year. 2027 is year. If you have been a normal year, of course we went for elections. But does it mean you should be so reckless? We elections are not to say good. I know now. DHR business is a braha. Obviously, like I say, Ghana, now it's so sad. You're talking about young people. When you see young people, you get so sad because young people they raise your family, but you see it in their faces. Say things are not going well. Until you say, hey, soon be a bad say, and open empire me boy, and me team in Bible. They say, me jam baby, I'll be a team of and then meet me the above bra. It shouldn't happen that way. Because young person, they also have a power. Only so, I'm a man saying, yeah, me and I'm going ya. So, the above bra. But they appear to look hopeless. And that is very serious for such a country. Because the Mebruno, yeah, was only hope of baby. And now, between that, I must say, Pesicabra, me have some. Pesicabra is here, so called Libya. Who could do it here? Who to trample to now cross the zone pet. It's for bagas away a migrant refugee a Jew. So go for woo and see so. You don't have any idea. Any example no report. Why? Because the young people want to live. They want to survive. They want to have a means of surviving. Obi abana ka say aha nya ma ha be ya ma nti ye nkwa. You go for obenya bi kakra bia dey akoma nipa no. Ye de ko akohwe ni.
So the end result is IMF no ebeboye.
Oh, as I said, you are in crisis. You are in dire need. That's why you've gone there. If you follow the prescription or more prescription, so we are one casano. Because the other aspect of it is a poempo in a third world country like us. Welfare issues in here, pa. A popo in such an yape. Way boy. It's obviously, once some are handicapped, we have to cushion them. Any social mitigation. Now, yeah, I understand be a constantly say, saying the workers rationalization, right sizing, saying also wage restraint. They'll bring all the prescriptions.
I see.
Now prescriptions number we've been to IMF all this time.
So you wait me Eddie want to president word so comfortably say IMF bailout no job cuts or job losses. So they want to do.
Well, the president will have to prove it with his government because we've gone through this before. In the 80s, PNDC, after taking over from PMP under Dr. Liman, took us through the same prescriptions. Dr. Kwesibocho was the chief advocate for IMF. The socialist bloc, who went to all the socialist countries for help, ended up going to the IMF. And then when they went to the IMF, they became the chief advocates. The prescriptions were very harsh, especially on the labor. The records are there. I hope we've learned lessons from it because the literature in there, what we've gone through, diversity, for instance. How come we ended up selling all our major industries? And in doing so, we lost so many on the labor front. As part of the prescription.
I see. Alaji.
This is who's still because you factories will be said.
All right. Alaji, but you are what is saying?
Yeah, I mean,
BBI come on.
BBI come on.
I see. Then I say. You didn't come on.
I didn't feel.
Medasipi, Mr. Sherwood.
Come on.
GTP Father Roma.
Oh, come on. African way.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't come on. And Kayan Kobo here, but IMF is sharing in the area, and they will know be to us. IMF no Ghana Juma 40 to buy Juma for no do an Abeshromo Juma. Fortunately, Ghana man paying this out of show message number. Say, Eddie Hawk on IMF dear. They will say, I buy Juma for Ebeshre on a Juma dear, and yes, son, as she say no a tear. Is enough. Is enough. Say the president can hear man so anafi. Your mom pie says she need to be doing a train of human.
Yo, Mamincha, mo, o mamu here, Benjamin Pay, mo, Marchi and I'm Marchi. Well, I am an issue here. Assembia, an honorable Ekano, started debate at check. But the bottom line is, and yet BBI for. Oh, yana ya. Mekai Japanese diplomat be once account UN say African for a pekasa chair. We are not doers. A pekasa too much. What is IMF prescription? You see, for a long time, because in your independence, you have fun about biase. Abanye Busumbia at the baby. It has the responsibility to take care of everybody. So
is that not how it's supposed to be?
That is not how it's supposed to be. A
reasonable percentage of NIPA or Shomu.
Debbie, that's not how the country is not here in America, New Britain. That is not how it is run. The government is there to only facilitate,
to create an enabling environment for the citizens to take opportunity. But from independence, because they need skills, need capacity, no, and initial leaders, no, or more Emma Abine a dominity to build the capacity of its citizens. And we want it to continue to today, after almost 58 years. It's not possible. In 1983, Mikaipa, when a PNDC for Ghana Omai, Bata IMF. I'm recommend this cocoa board. Now farmers in no mundu. I forgot the number, but cocoa board workers over 300,000. About na cocoa farmers no mundu 300,000. Does it make sense to you? A cofono omo ye adwuma no a yenye cocoa no a yedi kwa manania e ko ton yen ska dey this oban. They are not even up to 300,000. Meanwhile workers have a cocoa board over 300,000. And what did IMF tell the government? Say, you can even manage with less than 90,000. Why the 300,000? Then they just job for the boys. And that is what we have done between then up to today. And that means because the cocoa board need even 100,000 with increased population. So, a basic commonsensical issues are yendisu. And IMF HS yendisu. And they are buying budget about 20 billion. Afibia 20 billion, almost 9 billion, and not 10 billion. Editua abai juma foka. Na me eno wa yenya abai juma no wa na betueka. Almost half of our internal generated funds edi ko say etueka. Enti obi kase he honomu na ye bibia. I mean, you don't need to wait for somebody to even tell you. So wow, papa juma and I say wow juma. Na say juma was say nipa 5 year. Na say nipa 20 na also. What was? Acquire by nti. Acquire say elephant bia yakunu obi asa go for sika ngotwa na obetumi atwa bia. Nti common sense na omo say na ye na on our own volition here and to me end this so. Yenina budget. Yenina kotna budget the parliament approve. You say asamasi amount of 20 million. Afiwe. Don't say because we ya bruise more than even 80 million, 60 million.
Intimi share also.
Yeah, intimi share also. And the IMF no more is a policeman. So can say him all there and they will say udis near no be share no. That's simple.
Okay.
That's very simple. It is a man paying cancer. I believe that he also knows on him. So that is the right way to go about this. So they be just a juma or we school and page manu or a party nipa and page manu. Na I buying ebre. Meanwhile, yen generate Miss Omani Ghana any problem. Me do not compose any problem. Saying que you pay phone. Di niesa say yeah any problem nyankopon dia chair bibia ye hia wiasinya nyankopon dia me even the common sunshine weather you cry nyankopon dia me you tumi dia dan sika say kase omo a wanim dia ye wo bebre asase nsuo kwam ibia apple wonu say nchini nko betumi ama sika Ghana for nyina. Also, say over the 58 years independent, what have we done to develop the salt industry? Can you believe that within the West African coast, Ghana, Senegal, and Kwana, yetumi in Chino, the whole of West African coast, Ghana, Senegal. Now, Bissau, what have we done to develop the salt industry? Obia baby school, be a university, secondary school, then pay juma, abai juma. Yen to create this environment emma o ma hin kwa wo edwuma hai wono so wonye bibi onye otumi resist ka bia obetumi apen krofo kra amo medwuma ho se omo ye nchine edwuma emma no a ebetumi edi akọ amanane anye foreign yesi di ya de bia yesi ejime Kabejina. Masa kwa here elda hon. Edi enhu djuma na yeye. He aboso kan ko makola ko bebia store ni papa ko etimi fasika boom. 200 million, 400 million, 500 million akoji store. And so 400 million would go assassin within 5 years. You'll be talking about 4 billion. And so we could just store. Store is also the bien. And so the 400 I could store. Or the air conditioner boom, or the glass at him. Obey you, the CSA crowd, I don't know, it's costing about 600, 800 million old Ghana cities. And Sana, Ska, what the bay, you know, on 200 million crowd. Na o ton ade so a obia nim say o ye business a say o never be shema by next month next 2 months o say o ye there o sisan ne no o di never fofo be kan na o capital what the nyina akotua advance o di nyina akoto glass air condition and then o di be ejuma. These are some of the mistakes are here abra say o di koto sabi o di konyam nyantwa na say mponchi kra o to this ruminants, your friends, within 1 year, 2 years, they will multiply. Yeah. When we know that, when I sorry, I see a money mine. I've been any been no more car about Mrantian and Baba, joining a co-breaking. And he a penny for no, or Muna also moved 3 years, also, or Muna or say, or move a pequire, everma. Ni o costo e processes kai obetumi akọ assassin na o costo o ba be create ejuma store no e bia wa first store boy and store girl ni ba akọ pe abra assassin kan o di ko assassin so a obetumi afa ni more than 50 100 ejuma o kra wo nko ho obetumi atena nkran ana komasi ana na usika no eye ejuma ma na oman so enya faso se si a yedi sika nyina akọ kra nema kriti ejuma masa omana ye kokofo ne no mi wa yesu betima ye bi wa ene bi na mi tell about in 2000 sir Dr. former finance minister Dr. Dufo now a governor of Bank of Ghana me kaipa e bia mi kasa asemo graphic publish say the Bank of Ghana emma or commission research bi na research in that time say in 2000, before MP power, front page of the graphic said Ghana bet me anya almost about $2 billion from Inchini Bosumbia Afibia. 2000 to date is 2015, 15 years. Bissau successive government. Rollins Abayin now President Kufuor Baye, Mills Baye, Muhammad Abba. We can't even organize the Adom Lagu salt production. Why? Massa, salty, we hear machine, we hear sika bia. I able to develop. I create more than hundreds of thousands of jobs. I able to export, and they are starting oil ejuma. Salty, do you wanna hear also petrochemical industry? Nigeria salt to me and supply more. I can bet you foreign exchange. A DNA found. Okay. We have water lake over 800 kilometers of lake. Ensure could be a pump. What have we done to tap it? It's an indictment on all of us. The government, the people, civil society, everybody. The problems we cannot blame it on one person.
All right.
Because as someone make a minimum, say, what have I done on my part to start even something in that regard? Say, minimum. Mr. Mr. Mako starting Chinaji.
All right, Alaji, CP.
Well, so eventually, no, I can say we talk more than we act. Because research in the documentary in the Biano, we are in the process. Plans are far advanced. But as to whether we implement the plans, it's another matter.
The president of the Central University College, Professor Kwesi Yanka, says the tendency of government appointees embroiled in corruption scandals to later find work at the presidency is making that office a comfortable refuge for the corrupt. He was speaking at a conference organized by the Institute of Economic Affairs. Professor Kwesi Yanka said, and I quote, "Bad nuts cannot be sent to the presidency. When government appointees are cited for embezzlement of corruption, no machine is set in motion for investigation, prosecution, or indictment," the professor lamented. He said Mr. Ankra, widely believed to have performed poorly as minister under whose aegis the 2014 World Cup fiasco occurred, now finds himself among the presidential staff at the Flagstaff House. According to Professor Yanka, the failure to investigate appointees of government mired in corruption-related matters was fueling the perception there is lack of will to fight the canker. The IEA has done research in which the presidency was ranked the second most corrupt institution in Ghana. Although the perception of corruption is widely held to be a norm in the public service, the professor said the IEA survey shows a case of the fish getting rotten from the head, and something must be done about it. He said ultimately the president must be held responsible for corruption because he wields so much constitutional power and is responsible for key appointments in the country, unquote. Alaji. Our dumping grounds.
Oh my goodness. Even though ministry, but miracle. Papa. I would say yes, that is our initial discussion. It can be about leadership. So leadership is failing this country. And leadership and your presidency and our president. Your name, therefore, only leaders. But I can tell you, it's a very sad reflection of the kind of intellectuals or my way.
Academia.
Intellectuals, especially from academia, a very pathetic and sorry sight. Why am I saying this? Who could see a woman say they are? That's a own can cray. That's a woody near Esha Wobota Wakumum. And now you are trying to make your appreciation become facts to mislead the whole public. Very sad. You can tie that with second topic I've been discussing. Professor Quay. Say it is premature to shortlist for EC job. This is Professor Quay, a highly respected professor, political scientist, history. Not today. Saba also a Professor Yanka. Our chairwoman for a long time was through articles. Sabi a bimu cry a bimu every. But look at these two statements of these learned officers. Say the presidency has become a dumping ground for corrupt officials. Corrupt officials are in president and a presidency in the Omoko. Enemy beside say was still dumping ground for corrupt officials. Read that portion for me. You are a journalist. You have been sitting here reading and reviewing newspapers every day. Read that portion for me.
But that's what he says. A comfortable refuge for.
No, start.
The president of the Central University, Professor Kwesi, says the tendency of government appointees embroiled in corruption scandals.
Appointees.
Yes, embroiled in corruption scandals.
Duduo. Nipa bebre. Duduo. Corruption here. And you understand me? Many scandals.
Abai nipa where you are dodo na ketanse ne proya form.
A form.
Be idea omo hwehwe omo koguni e presidency ho.
Is that a fact? Meanwhile, the bia from Monday to Friday, who review newspapers, utie TV, utie radio. Asam we enukre. Nipa hi, abai nipa hi na yechi omu anase omu hu
eba asema.
Ayedi omu eko parliament presidency. Nipa hi. Nipa nidin a oboy minister abo nidin because obi kan just one bo obi obi can tell me say but me who I didn't in quotes in my journal line say obo Elvis Ankra. Was Elvis involved in a corrupt scandal as a minister of sports? Was he mentioned? Was he cited? Was he involved? I'm asking you. You are here, Honorable is here. He was a former deputy minister of sports. Every Brazil by up to Nay. Has anybody indicted Afri Ankra in any corruptible act? So that if a learned professor should come at a very important forum, make these statements, maybe to her, whatever you say, I'll even take it again because it is tainted. It is tainted.
But he raises very critical issues.
What is it?
That perception of corruption. Again, he says that when government appointees are cited for
that is why I said government appointees, meaning many government workers and officials. Who for appointees? We are talking about Dudu Ono. And scandals in Yabako. Kotashisheni Proye. So maybe so say, show me one government official, especially in this government. Nihu Ebon Efa Kotashisheni Proye. Yedina Kotuna. Flat staff.
But the name that really comes up, he says that there was a fear and why did he have performed
poorly
as a minister?
Yes, if you say the man performed poorly, I'm not have a problem because I don't know a judgment.
But what goes into poor? No,
it is different from corruption. Is poor. Incompetence doesn't amount to corruption. Somebody can be incompetent. Okay, say one manage Brazil, nobody will doubt you. Because say the buck stops with the boss. Him say Brazil a fiasco. Obia getu. I'm a banker. It's setting up commission of inquiry. So it is not something that anybody can deny it. So the minister was incompetent in handling that Brazilian issue. No wonder he was crying at the commission. Tears no also no. Partly, me believe that he felt ashamed about his track record. Apart from the fact that people were also casting aspersions on those and then calling him a thief. But he was also crying because I failed the nation. My brother, I don't know corruption, what can I say? What is there? We have seen the work of the commission of inquiry into the Brazilian affair. Was Elvis cited of embezzling and looting any state funds? Apart from that, we are living in a democracy. The cardinal principle in democracy is that nobody is guilty until found by a competent court of jurisdiction. The fact that the Ekase Omahini, I suspect say why could you bribe? That's a constitute bribery and not corruption. You get me? There has been a process to unravel what went on wrong in Brazil. You know, and if you look, was it that people are dumped there without any punishment, without any investigation? Okay, said there was no investigation when people are cited of corruption, which is also a blatant lie.
How?
And Mitchell said
in the first place, if you admit it's allergy, say you should referee and credit. So you admit that we're performing poorly, not necessarily being a corrupt official. Now, somebody who performs poorly as a minister, then you assume the Kusi presidency.
I'm sorry, unfair question. The fact that Obia performed poorly at one ministry doesn't mean that he cannot function well in another ministry. That is why we have reshuffle. That's why we have reshuffle. Odi Obi ko say uncle start o baby na say okona say say ohono eye di man na say wonu ene nche say wa want me ye baby afri ankra obi anim ni track record we lecturer I say UPS before. What am I say? Why as a campaign manager of a flag bearer, both for the Mills and John Mahama. Wabe Juma as a deputy general secretary of the NDC. Wabe Juma as a deputy minister of local government. So he's not that daft. But the handling of this specific job, and on Obiamoa is somebody some of us respect highly. Right from his private days as a lawyer, before Kwame got into politics. But I disagree with him. His handling of the stadium affairs that brought about the Woyomwe contract issue. I thought it was poorly handled. Does it make him incompetent in every other field? He's here. And I'm sure if he had a second opportunity on that stadium issue, he will take a different action from what they took. Because at that time, some of the things were beyond him, some of the things, and you don't cry fire. And look at what it has led this country into. So you give contractors warrant to go into site, midway, you stop them, and so on. I saw letters written from his ministry, giving the right of entry to contractors. Only to those contractors who told that Edmonian from Mom. And that brought about this Waterville and Woyome issue. The nation lost over 51 million Ghana cedi. I was not happy with the way the government, Eddie Ejumano, Eddie Koma, Chinese for. The stadium job, Omudi Koma Chinese for. The money, Omokocha Koji loan. From every backlist, Eddie Chuamuka.
Okay, so the issue is that
you see, so
the presidency cannot be cited. Say,
I'm not saying that.
Grounds.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that on this particular score.
What?
And the same way, about Michael Quay, I'll talk about it.
Okay, allow you that.
People allow their political lineage, and I said, line, toss. That is why you can even have a whole professor who write Ghana history without acknowledging Kwame Nkrumah in that book. It's no wonder.
Okay. 1760 L text message line. Lucky about for the one CP.
I in a normal year program. Now I'm saying a follow up to survey or year. The average person I survey no a rank Office of the President as number 2 when it comes to corruption issues. Parliament them say ranking and third was a 4th. Was a police in the top way, which was a very good survey, eye opener. Now based on that, they just brought people together, had a theme for yesterday's meeting, and then gave topics for, and I said, one more craft for more topics that they dealt with various issues. We share in a graphic front page. They've taken another angle. Almost when it comes to independent governance bodies, say Shiraj, EC, NCC, normal. The even way of appointing those who head such institutions, we should go a bit deeper than that. To the extent, say, even Constitutional Review Commission can say in such appointments, Parliament even appears to have been left out. Apart from in consultation with Council of State, and now on the advice of Council of State, regarding EC and the NCC, National in consultation in other bodies. Apart from that, it should be with the prior approval of Parliament. The Constitutional Review Commissioner, under Professor Mills, has set it up. As we speak, we say $6 million. And I say, sir, who exercises, you know. Part of their recommendation is when it comes to appointment of those heading independent governance institutions, Parliament should be involved. The appointment should be more rigorous. There should be open vetting, selection-wise, etc. That's the angle that you can napa only a short or fire. Now, I don't think your small quotation here represents the entire thing that Professor Yanka said. Kakrami TV Sukrano. He even referred to those who were at the forefront of fighting corruption. How they end up going to serve the presidency. Apart from Badwam, Adom was a crusader for anti-corruption. I could be presidency. Ofu said he could have fought corruption more outside than being inside government. He even cited YB Asamoah. YB Asamoah also war anti-corruption institution. Mimi free vice president Aliu office no very place me. He brought all those issues. Now, if you sit down to look at the entire thing that Professor Yanka said, I don't think it will be fair to him in just saying, say, intellectual, no, a failure and when we are discredited. Professor Yanka has said all history of fighting corruption and dictatorship. All history. A statue of rules of a patriot. Take you on Okwenu cry. On our next edition, I say, Opie at is so be Babashano. Nobody says, did he look like a buffalo? Now, referring to an Okwenu. If you have followed Professor Yanka very well, he's one of the most objective, sincere, and very respectable intellectuals.
But the statement of fact and not making it, that's the point.
The point that he's making is
has become a dumping ground.
The point he's making is the point he's making is if we say we are fighting corruption, the person who wills so much power to help us fight corruption is the president. A constitution, Bibia by president. Appointments, dismissals, recommendations, Bibia president. That's what our constitution is. You can't say review na amend the basin into amendment. Part of the reason and train provisions was a referendum and one could be Supreme Court and can you even the non-entrenched ones a bit with the parliament. Now if you're a president and you have so much power, then if the average person feels say the corruption also affect him, he feels to say be a president who be a show say who fight corruption. You have to do it. And don't give that perception and impression say so be ye bonina when ni one or be a juana when ni one. I am cannot say we cry. Why set your presidential commission? Offer a report grandma would also be more presidency. More or less you said they say he's okay.
Report to who here.
Report to who here in the interim report to my there. Even though you have expressed so much dissatisfaction with what has gone on, to the extent of even setting up a commission, who say the person should come and work there?
There are no enough grounds. Say the person who general, because of presidency.
If you had said the person should step aside, and a report by exonerating now, you have given a different impression. One, and I don't want it to be personal, because Abemu Kuma, you end up if Ubu or my and also Abema, you end up with personal relationship with people. Obu Obefi so down better TV so that we'll discuss. I don't want this to go there. But even before this Brazilian report, there's a Maputo report. Maputo report, how have we acted on it? There's Jida report, how have we acted on it? Maputo report, if you go in now, there's somebody at the presidency now who was involved in Maputo report. Why is it not that you let the president even clear himself and send our co-presidency? Otherwise, I think probably we are even above average. But there are other people who say, na bibi ba na kan ho asem na asem no nya asem papa kura yen kan wie no say obey our president. That is only a small aspect of what Professor Yanka said. And I don't think we should take that small aspect and think say
But it's now becoming numbers. If the area short raises an issue about the national security advisor.
Yes.
Onokwani Sipayanki issues be a buy
well.
but he finds himself at the presidency.
Yes.
And you know, what does it mean?
What perception do you give? What perception do you give? Whether we like it or not, elsewhere, how do they do it? Are we different from the rest of the world? Because but we can be Mbappe. Why say me who have film? It's your prerogative. It is prerogative. But say as some I ain't can we no usi free her bra one fan go baby I say and me may join presidency.
But I like your issue. And you mo and I won't tear no and the head of don in Tiasio. So who's to so be and you I agree. Who's to so be and yet I young can tear no de casa. So then I na Ghana for Caribbean on the Ghana for Casa and say presidency that number 2 no. So then no muka wasem. Said the na Ghana for being say man paying and Casanquano on Yakudu or they fight corruption. That is the issue. I hear from the young can or canasem. I am survey police room, presidency room, parliament room, other institutions room. Yeah, see a boo of mine. Yenina Ghana for a career. And on Mufu say, or man ye mooney, a bucket is any prayer. That's so. And see NCC. Omo here is survey on parliament. Omo can send me because we share this no. Omo call this is. Me go am this is count. Omo call this could be side. Say parliament for omo juan te saying corruption and something saying. Si kanti no omo do parliament na obi parliament so kwa any who yenti no kwa na so ko boam ye bu oman no. Yeah, Ghana for kind no very poor to here. As to whether that is exactly the fact, no? Or is a perception, no? How do you address the perception? And he's saying, say I no more way cause and a must ask perception. That's why he even went on to say, oh man, no more fight corruption. Okay, when we don't go to presidency, no could do presidency. Is he able to fight the same way? No, the presidency not fighting now. But Adom, you be saying, he's now changed his method. Now, anti-corruption agenda no remit no dey man no hwe. As to whether he can fight better than when he was outside no. Yeah. Another matter. And as to whether the average person will believe say okotra aban mu a obetimi ni aban akon okita se no since no wa bontin o ka ne ekoso enye no. The average person will judge. Timisre me ya man enye tre was a young president, or super no. He did an intellectual exercise and very well researched. Okay, you to in fact realize here what happened and judge what he said yesterday. Probably we should go for a full report and look at it paragraph by paragraph, and you see that virtually everything that he said made so much sense. I don't want us to personalize it. Okay. Let's look at what happened yesterday. How does it enhance our governance? Irrespective of the government in power. I mean, that's my attitude in life. And yes, MPP were power, different standards. And this were power, different standards. Yeah, quite no. Yeah. Mine is saying, if you have such an institution, getting involved and bring people on board, they say, yeah, money, yeah, meka. Yeah, we are no interview. I say, don't get here. I say, obviously, media for no say, no one thing say me bring panic. If you work on kind, it's in our favor. The media be an here mo side na mo aba na mo dey bisa me because o see corruption index no kwa share ranking in normal is in kwa it looks better. That's what Seduketia said. I heard him on there. But mo ne here mo no ye part no say e dey be ma go presidency. Okay. One more say some mo ho en kan wi ne do makọ. All right. Let's take that thing in its entirety. If we will discuss if attack the message, you know the messenger. All right. Honorable MC or Techiman, former Prince Doyina. Kwabna, I agree perfectly with Alaji. That it is only a competent court that can pronounce the guilt or otherwise of a public official. Please ask Alaji if he will then apologize to President Kufuor and his ministers for all the publications he did against them on corruption issues, since at the time of his publication, and even to date, no such adverse findings have been made against them. Former MC Techiman, Prince Dojina.
First of all, Maninti, as I said, President Kufuor Power, mini paper, me intro BBR. I was not publishing anything until he got it wrong.
Okay.
Honorable Okabibi, and I like it. Say ya na inti nsemno, regardless of which government is in power. Na me here ni pano. True. And I like that kind of orientation. Say kasana kaye nyina ye ya. I don't have a problem. But you also know of what we call intellectual dishonesty. And I gave an example about a leading historian professor in Ghana. I watched Ghana history without mentioning the first president of this republic.
Which
Go and find out.
Go and find out.
Madam, was see Professor Yanka, an astute professor, or a respectable professor. Misha didn't acknowledge this. So even some of us, yes, free Troy because he was a columnist for many years. I said it in my introduction, my speech. But can you also deny that Professor Yanka is hybrid anti-NDC? I'm telling you. I am telling you.
And if
he is all the 18, 20 years I watched Kokotro. Go and do an analysis. It was against the Rawlings, the NDC tradition.
If it's anti-NDC, what is wrong with it?
That is wrong. The wrong I'm saying is what he said there cannot be factual. Because Afriya and Kranoa was cited. Afriya and Kranoa was cited. And he has not been indicted.
No, yeah,
that is one example. That is one example that was published.
I don't know. We're comfortable say the wow tea and the wow king and the wow share with TV. So to the extent that Minister Su, say any even corrupt attitude or corrupt practice. The presidency is of such repute to say, Sir Nkofukuno, not to personalize. All respect to Honorable Free, not to personalize. But maybe a
before you even finish, what you are saying, then we should go and look for a suitable for your government. If what you are trying to say,
not necessarily
and what
so.
he is saying, and what Honorable Amo is saying, then we have to go and look for angels to come around this country.
We manage
because
we manage situations.
Because no, listen, I know why I'm saying this. I know why I'm saying this. Babin Asamoah were one of the finest anti-corruption crusaders of Kroma. Were a Jumawa integrity initiative for many years, impeccable. One need be beer, what free or die abang Aliyu Mama office. Over an MPP campaign up to there.
That is not the issue.
I'm coming.
That is not what he said.
Please allow me. I also read what he said and I watched him. So you allow me to make my point. Why do you even cite him? What was the purpose of bringing up his name? Say, I could join Abai.
Equally same to Batida.
That's why I'm coming. What has Batida done wrong? Are they not Ghanaians first and foremost? Are they not entitled to serve their nation?
But I don't resist you say. Juma any baby
until the man falters. Why would you doubt it?
If I sit here as an MPP host, Alaji, now my discussion. Are you comfortable with me as an known MPP host?
This is a private TV station. You can decide to be NDC. You can decide to be peace. Say a state, then that is where the problem is. What I'm saying is, why would you even cite these two fine gentlemen, anti-corruption crusaders? What was the purpose? Ka omukoye ejumanu enna they behave otherwise. Ka ya obetu ya someone babia someone woye ejuma at and wokojo NPP were corrupt. And he was defending corruption. What say? He decided to go and serve his nation. Batidan has decided to go and serve his nation. What is wrong with that? Onu Yanka was offered the opportunity to serve his nation. He refused. And that is the personal choice. He was offered a job by the Kufu administration. He refused. But you understand me? So I'm saying that what has that got to do with our fight against corruption? Now they were behaving contrary to their initial position now. Then that's become and Namika said, it doesn't make sense. For me, I think that we are allowing our parochial partisan interest to override, to cloud our sense of judgment. And that is not only Professor Yanka. Most of the intellectuals and leadership of this country, and they, so we you have bishops of high repute, like the Methodist bishop in Obuasi, you have the Presbyterian moderator. Everybody is now jumping just because.
Alaji, these two personalities, what is partisan about comments are? When the president moderator talks, when the president
have you heard them?
No. Which of the statements do I make here?
Many statements, many uncomplimentary statements against a sitting president. The two gentlemen I mentioned to you, they made serious uncomplimentary statements against a sitting president. They raised leaders of the country. You can even disagree with the president, you can disagree with his government, but go and listen to what they said, especially Ayensu of Obuasi. Go and listen to what he calls the presidency or the president. That's what I'm telling you. And I'm telling you that, Cecilia, it is becoming a fashion, and it's dangerous for this country because what you are doing is those who also favor the NDC government, when the MPP come to power,
you also do same.
They also do the same. And we are not building a nation. We are destroying the fabric of this nation.
Okay. Come on here. What happened yesterday was to enhance governance. Okasai, Professor Yanka Kasai, Iura Batidam, Abeyano. Send me the Juma me or still me Boama fighting corruption. The statement he made about Babuyan someone said, no, you're anti-corruption crusader. Or call vice office. Minimum Juma or Koya enhancing anti-corruption. Babuyan someone today may come out to say, so me call vice office. Say anything in a mayor. What he wants to say, which I agree with him perfectly. They say, Man Koto Suarez, Emasna, Nobasna. The ground money will be not a bench. Yes, to be able to weaken Liverpool.
A personal choice. A personal choice.
Please, also,
thank you, but a personal choice.
What he says, we should not encourage this attitude. So be surrender. He's putting the government on his toes, irrespective of the government in power. We should not be encouraging that situation. Is a brand me man post.
Mbadu na laji catch us ko wako ni entwene ehu.
Ya entwene dem bi. Entwene dem.
Many people who so from so be oh.
Anya personal issue.
No, but the issue is the okoko anti transition project.
All along no, the impression we are creating is say nipa no ni hu ni fin bia, okọ ni hu ni fin bia de na e ka no asem. That's not the issue. That is not the issue at all. The issue that he wants to raise is
Juma no we no betima your
home. And we should encourage it. And I support it.
There are two different fields.
There are two different fields.
And I
support it. Entirely.
He is an activist.
And no many media for Bikasa, joy for Bikasa. No say the word say Ebeka say anti-government too, because they be any issues na moment can. I'm say you are doing a very good job. Even when there is change of government, I expect you to do this good job. Because I mean, we are buying now it will be your check here buyer.
They be buying better.
They be buying. It makes sense even better government. Because I mean, you will be at a bar with clean mind. You will be at a bar and say, "Maybe some mama." Before we break bar they have their own personal motives. It is a way in ya will be obey policy are buying constructively, objectively. Maybe I will so apart from you running down your government, you are running down the nation. And I agree with you perfectly, sir. Senior people who speak for the rest of us. After all, politics will be an politics. Ghana and NDC and MPP. He couldn't be bothered about MPP or NDC. About two, all right. But the Nyaya, like a man, a bunny, no, so the what tunnel. And Edmore and Libya when you may, No, Mahabi and Gase, and they are doing Kanye and she said, Sika spend no food and generator and granty. I was see a billion quatrain and I can do it. The average person is not interested in day-to-day political activism. We don't know yet. And if he will get people who will speak for him to put the government on his toes, why not?
Okay, a lot of your text messages.
One
second before because. You see, so also we are intellectual, we are BBC. Then you have to, like all canoe, you're holistic. May you choose and pick. Yanka, he has been writing since early 80s.
Against military dictatorship.
Maybe a friend at the end of the Quatriot.
Rules of the Quatriot.
What's one from state-owned media, what they call, private media, and people wanted to read him because I work canoe. Watch it, and I said, keep watch over the government. And this will be it's good, fine. But I'm saying that he is in this country. Former President Kufuor, MPP administration, you have a party chairman who was caught on tape, revealing that the president was sitting in the castle receiving kickbacks.
But who didn't talk about it?
Remember, this person
You spoke about it.
Official.
You spoke about it.
I'm talking about what? I'm talking about
so pick and choose now.
What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? If you are anti-corruption crusader, what did he say?
Professor Yanka has two platforms.
What did he say?
He has two platforms.
You have the president himself. You have the president himself. You have the president Kufuor himself coming out at Cape Coast in December 2003 to say that he will not go and expose any member of his government on air. Because doing that, will collapse his government. What did they say?
Okay.
Now, with regard to Batidam and Yawabuabe Asamoah, let me tell you, they decided to do public advocacy as far as corruption is concerned. If they decide today that they are not going to do that aspect and they are going to go into mainstream politics to help a government, what is wrong with that?
Nobody's saying anything.
Is that not part of their constitutional right?
But the argument is that inequality is
There is no argument. It is their personal choice. Listen. There is no argument. I have decided. Look, just 2 days ago, I was reading a paper. Me and Madam police penny bipa a friend Castro. Who Odin Castro?
Jima also
primaries. Me can also work with MPP. Our Mampo area home. It is his personal choice, even though I call retirement. But this man, when MPP was in power, you move na cook for him because you making allegations. Say he was encouraging selling arms to armed robbers and so on. Interdicting under the MPP regime, and some of us thought that it was unfair to him. We were defending, and then he has decided a personal choice to go and stand on the ticket of MPP. He's a Ghanaian. The constitution has given him that.
Okay.
So let me tell you,
the president who decides to come and work with me. And your personal choice.
And in the personal choice, say what decided say me jai anti-corruption.
But the president is not.
I'm leaving.
The president is at the expense of majority of the people. Because the question is, Alaji,
yes, sir, we are not educating ourselves.
But the question is,
Abu Abiyan decided to go and run for a dental campaign. Was that also at the pleasure of the president?
No, but that doesn't
come. I'm asking you.
Okay.
It's not also at the pleasure of the president.
It's not issue. Don't push anti-corruption.
Getting to the president is not the pleasure of the person. You will be called by an authority.
Look,
it's not an issue.
Do you know how those people were persuaded to take those appointments?
Okay.
Do you know how they were persuaded? Those people. Do you know how long it took them to even accept that appointment? Do you know how much? They had to do wider consultation.
That's not me. I was one of those people who even recommended Yabuabe. I was one of those people.
But he didn't take it those whole attention.
I was one of those people. He was my junior at Pembe College.
He had to do so.
I knew he would do the job after me.
Yes, but
the point he is making is that in general terms, perception-wise, don't think that by putting
he will tell you that when he was offered, It took him a long time. He had
Nobody
to do
is
soul
saying that.
searching.
Nobody is saying
Because
that.
of this kind of conception.
It's
and
premature to
course.
shortlist for EC job.
Yes.
Yekwaba. Yeba. Well, we are back. My main question car, no need for number no main term. Na me admire Joada FSM goes antenatal and ma ohania dunum free of charge. Yeah, shemo na afi motivative apo ye pa. Ebedin komo, but me question so car on the 1st of May, ewo Tema Community 2 Kane Biana Adom FM on Mono Club on lucky ever for free health screening. Now if you do be able to be at 20% discount. A lot of your text messages about my main kinkai and famo. Obeying the 10 commandments, paying tithes, speaking in tongues is not salvation. Acts chapter 4 verse 12. Nana Bunsu campaign for Jesus ministry. Good morning to your mind. And please, Nana, I have something very important to discuss with you. Please kindly give your personal line to me. Thanks. Mame Chirwa Kodia. Omine. Okay, all right. Kedia Omine. Yesterday on your program, Catherine Afeko alleged that Professor Nokoi has not been attending funerals. She thinks talking loosely about one's opponent in elections as she did is the way to win. Okay, I'm not getting this one. No, I mean, sure, cross over with the crowd. Maybe I'm also person taking advantage of money per corner. Okay, so that's it. One more be for your information. That's it. Men could create that unnecessary. Oh, so third person reporters. No, no, are you for no more take up him? So not afraid. The man in a pardon and now you mock can what happen. Who comes in and carry? Yes, Samu. Yes, Samu. No, what's in okay, you're quitting. Another one says MP's monthly salaries of 7,000 entitled to numerous funds and monumental ex gratia at the end of their 4-year, but assembly members don't receive any of the above and are not being respected. Government, please pay us our ex gratia. Mr. President, Ghana need Rawlings time again. And another one, okay, so that's it. 1760 text message line. Honorable Biamwa, NPP seems to be too much interested in this EC appointment. And then Professor Okoye raises issues. Ghana's ex-second deputy speaker of parliament, Professor Mike Okoye, has challenged the basis for the names being bandied around about as possible replacement for the outgoing chairman of the Electoral Commission. There are 6 names making the rounds in the media as possible replacement for Dr. Kojo Frejan. They are current deputies, EC commissioners, Georgina Poku Amankwa and Amadou Sule, 2 Court of Appeal judges, Justice Senyor Jamife and Justice Kofi Jan, Charlotte Osei, chairperson of the NCC, and Dr. Iman Lakwete of IDEC. But, that's a quotation, but whose shortlist is that which is making rounds? The chairman of the MPP Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee asks, looking at the very recent experience from Nigeria next door and our own experience, my shortlist, any shortlist that does not include respected names in the academia, like the current crop of vice chancellors, makes me nervous. In any event, I think it is way too premature to be talking about the shortlist now. To me, a shortlist defeats the whole debate about broad consultation before the appointment. And he continues to say he is convinced that the people behind pushing this shortlist in the public space have an agenda, and it will be wrong for the country, particularly the media, to be hoodwinked into accepting the names without scrutiny as a matter of fact.
Me per in the first place, I want us to educate ourselves.
Okay, that's education.
O share your constitution more. Appointments be bureau also present here. In consultation with the Council of State. 2 institutions are men who are on the advice. Curiously, NCC chair and the Electoral Commission chair, and then deputies. It may be curious because probably for NCC, they are supposed to propagate what we say civic education. Omo na say omo check Ghana for almost civic rights ni bibia. Did they expect any be appointing? But yet neutral to the sense to say omo feel say Council of State and the advisory president no your appointment. The same with Electoral Commission. Now, Omamu Hano, Osha, since I appointed you, Rafael, how many years ago? This is the first time I saw a situation in Ababio. Say, you Rafael, Okojina Home, they'll see you be Shana 9. Now, to me, Emma, in Yantia, and say, a Council of State and advise the President. How do they go about it? One school of thought, and they say, President, Bachelor Council of State, say, vacuum aba, nipa na or share electoral commission, so no. Say, any time was one call. Imran say more advice me. So I'm writing to you, say vacuum aba. Constitution answer I can say, the President request no qua within 30 days. Also Council of State, MMY. But the Constitution didn't go ahead to say, the Council of State, MMY, the advice in the bar, the President has a right to reject. All those are issues. And sure, be a Constitution, say, the Council of State be my advice. No, Chinchina was a President in this. And I was a President, to me, can say, minimum prince, and Timusanfa advice for Formra. Sir, honing in ano, in 20 how we go about things. Now, going forward, no, we need to look at those things because who appointed a chairman of the Electoral Commission then, and a chairperson of the Electoral Commission. The better one say, or no, I say, okay, you want to resign. You may have to appoint another one. I mean, my name, you have to appoint another one. And ask can I do crabby timber. When you go through the process, near in a few. Inti me yen say you are Fred Jan obedi about 20 years or more. Ebi obi obiano bedi sa 20 years or more. Now say you na tie ho ase say in appointing such a person, what is the procedure? That is where I even have a problem with the Council of State. Council of State, the way it is saying, we may have to agree on how they operate. Is it a second chamber? If it's a second chamber, what will be the modalities? Do they say as it is? If they say as it is, how does the ordinary person know how they work? They say near that pronounce say Council of State, can't best number advice President, my President, so assume within 30 days the President request the Beko. This year till the President request in Kokra now on Fankoya. We don't know. Ideally, no President request no kwa. Council of State should have a way. If there's not a members talking now, there's even a communication unit of Council of State, which will inform the whole world to say, the President has requested that we should advise him on the next chairman of the Electoral Commission. No, because we have to count the 30 days.
I don't know person mumu ye de mumu.
And you the 30 days is in the Constitution. No, but I because I don't know
you follow more to the latter. I
didn't. With all due respect, assuming say MPP are buying a so. Now MPP president was no person appointed chairman of Electoral Commissioner. And this any other presidents don't they have a right to say how the process is going to be done? Assuming say the shoe was on the other footer. Those people don't they have the right to know what is going on? Is it those only in power who have the right to know what is going on? And even a request where you have 30 days, though, we have to know, sir, this is the formal thing which has been done. Within 30 days. Maybe. I said almost 30 days. Also almost 30 days. Now 30 days, if it takes you 60 days, and send out the you should give reason why I take you 60 days. And we should all be counting. What is wrong with it? Parliament, the law about told us say subsidiary legislation, 21 sitting days. ECD or more year about to say a constitutional instrument. 85 days and Sunday, yeah, sorry. Yeah, come back 12 May. I will say a kind 16 days in the count. Because 16 days now, so say I buy emra. Why should this be?
No, it's coming across as if the MPP are overly interested in who becomes the NP.
Why not? Why not? Because people are running elections, Or the Makuma, if you go and bring a lazy person to come and run elections, or it be a beer, he will Jatum, and this was a CCAM pre, into Jatu Krumha. Would it be to anybody's benefit? Or the average person thinks that we having taking the right steps to elect leaders of this country? Would it help anybody? What does it take? Say, how come say in other jurisdictions, you know, the BI is so transparent. Now you hand there, the BI will say money here. What is so strange about it? That is the first point of it. The second point, you know, Professor Quay, I haven't read the whole thing that he said. I haven't listened to him. I haven't spoken to him. The impression he also has, and he said, shortlist no crano. A bit of speculate and answer. That is what we should take as a shortlist. It's Graphic which started it. Graphic started saying, we don't know what to say. You better shortlist only you move back. If Council of State should tell us, say, we've been asked to advise the president, say never call about it. You are doing well, say Nipa Numi or make my edge. Now, you crab from no Macasa one by one, say, the engineer who you are doing when the engineer officer said, is there anything wrong with it? Because if you constitutional review, a proposal say, and here, easy chair, and can you prior approval of parliament? Which means the person would have come for vetting.
What is it new?
Which means the person would have come for vetting.
And they new.
You know, Ghana for Adom who says I don't person Ghana for constitutional review that says go on, in the whole country, we report of the Bible say no. We a buy here white paper. Said Nyaja to Munino. Or white paper them say, or Muji to say, appointing this, you know, it should be prior approval of parliament. Which means to say, and can Nipa give up and Kobaba Betam go be Etienne and Nusa, the enemy of person Yama, a Ghana mind, the side do understand inside. And if the lot has fallen on Council of State, no, I'm also may say, Jumana. Why not?
I know what you're saying, Drew. So you are not listening. Yeah, amend the constitution. So that you are suggesting, it's only a suggestion.
No, what do you
mean have you hold it? Because time we ask.
No.
The issue is that Magana for in Tom say, Council of State, they say, you might have they say, yeah, I say 2 of my paying for. That's why I first went to me. Case close. That is how you run government, open government.
Until the party MPP believes that still commissioner plays a role in winning elections.
No, but you are in charge.
The interest, what's the interest coming from?
No, but I'm surprised you. I know.
No, I'm asking.
Where is the interest coming from? I know you're playing the devil's advocate.
But where's the interest coming from?
Because any responsible person in this country who doesn't think that we need somebody who can run elections freely and fairly, I'll be surprised.
Okay, Honorable
I'll be surprised.
But before me person will be sir, Honorable, a lawyer was saying. Who appoints the Chief Justice? Or how is the Chief Justice appointed?
3 procedures.
Okay.
1, Judicial Council, the Council of State, the Parliament.
The President play role.
Maybe the President appoints.
Okay.
But through this process. Because now now to say, what he does, what he does is say, Judicial Council may in consultation with the President say, Nipa winner, and he done also a Council of State. This time the President consults. He's not advised. He consults. A Council of State is so, I can say, consultation and yes, you to say the private Chief Justice. Then goes through the vetting process.
Okay. I'm happy you are saying that you are referring to them as them. That is the MPP. What they want to rewrite our constitution. Professor Michael Professor Michael MPP almost person almost show your constitution.
O se Ghana ni bia o interest.
Me say almost person almost show your constitution. Because I Michael Quay ni o kanwa. Also a lawyer penimu and I was a professor. And that's my problem with them.
Your problem with who? He also be a professor.
Be
personal professors.
Yes. I'll show you why I'm raising this point. I'll show you why I'm raising this point. I'm concerned.
About what?
About some behavior.
They shouldn't speak their minds.
No. About their behavior. I'm quoting him.
Okay.
I'm quoting Prophet Michael Quay. looking at the very recent experiences from Nigeria next door, and our own experience, any shortlist that does not include respected names in the academia, like the current crop of vice chancellors,
It's his opinion.
makes me nervous.
What's wrong with it? It's an individual.
To me, a short list defeats the whole debate about broad consultations before appointment of EC commissioner. The former Domi MP said, broad consultation, if formal constitution and a broad consultation, a fine favor. There's nothing in constitution. Article 72, and this is what he says. The president acting, I think it's 71, 2. Why is it even?
It's 70.
72, eh?
Yeah,
72 and not 71.
72.
72.
Yeah.
No, 72. Yeah. President, Council of State.
Okay. So,
70.
The president
on the advice,
shall, acting on the advice of the Council of State, appoint the chairman, deputy chairman, and other members of the Electoral Commission.
So where does broad consultation comes in here?
No, I like it's all fun. No,
tell me. Clear. Was see the president on the advice of the Council of State? There is no issue about broad consultations.
But
secondly, I have a problem. So Professor Ukwe can say because Nigerian for professors, any vice chancellors, have managed elections. Yet Ghana, something we have been doing for over 25 years now. This is the first election. Our credible elections. Yeah, you are holding 5 credible elections in this country. We have held 5 successive and credible elections in this country. You are comparing Ghana to Nigeria, who are having their first successful election.
Why are you saying that? They've been doing elections.
Honorable, we
they've
don't
been doing
have
elections.
That's why
I mean, what's the basis of saying that elections are credible and when the first credible elections?
Because previous elections, baby, I am to Abakra declare results for Nigeria.
Wow.
Nigeria previous elections, baby, I am to Abakra yet we declare results.
Nigerians have been
this
going
is the
to court.
first time.
Yes, I be have been going to court.
A long time ago, under Afarijan, say from polling station to constituency to district to region to national. And you are telling us to go back and learn from Nigeria. What kind of colonial mentality? Wait, what kind of colonial mentality? 25 years, yeah, practicing democracy, yeah, elections. Nigeria, everyone. Why? What is the basis?
It's not bad.
What is the basis? What is the basis?
When they've excelled.
What is the basis say? We should go and pick professors and vice chancellors to run our elections.
That's his
what
opinion.
Is the basis?
That's his opinion.
It's not only his opinion. It's the opinion shared by the MP because the MPP Communication Bureau publishes our opinion. So it is no more my question. It is MPP's position. And the said, what is the basis? We have run elections in this country, young professors, young vice chancellors. Why? Secondly, the constitution I declare Kwankwa first selected electoral commissioner. The Council of State, apart from general advice, or any specific role in our constitution, on the advice on our consultation.
Are two different things.
Of the Council of State. They cannot by themselves initiate anything. It is not.
But
it is not.
Lawyers already said this is subject to interpretation.
Why don't they go to court? Why don't they go to court?
Why
don't they go to court? Why don't they go to court? And that's where I have a problem with some of these our academics. Say media iron their own research. And who say about 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, who said you publish that even one person has been selected.
Please.
Please.
That
the chairperson of NCC is the one who is touted to be the next EC chair. His paper published it.
Alaji published that the EC.
I say we publish 4 names and 5. So don't say
we
said one lady.
By your sources from the president.
We said yes, still the one who came top among them and Obama. And we gave reasons. So young boy, say what can be processes be about me take about and sana final announcement.
How many days?
Might be unfair to Ghanaians. Yes. So the number of days then I'll buy into what you say. You should know the days.
Was on was it 30 days. And during the 30 days period, no. What is trending? What is impeccable sources? What's impeccable sources? From the Council of State. Yes. From the Council of State. From the President. From the Council of State. From the Council of State. Master, yeah, can ye? Yeah, almost yes, yes,
I like what boy be from the Council of State.
President, ye can say, or no, dear, or person, or the tradition, so say the deputy, electoral commission deputy, no, was succeeding boss. But President, because of this concern, amount for areas, you know, what decided to be outside the square or the dean account into what there 3-4 names account to the 2 deputies out of the Boko Council of State. But your sources, our council, and let me say, so when you try,
I like that. So here, I will be aware that but one more legend to make it. One more legend make it. Okay.
From the beginning,
no, fully a fee motor. A large battery does it. Open Parasumani do anti review. One house man mandate by sometimes late. Yeah, Madam Rantem. Madam, because early people say,
Joy from the first place from printing.
Okay, Joy it's been some kind of me because most of more impeccable.
Council of State members, they want to make history.
Okay.
Obasu MBAB.
All right.
Then
paper Dominic Dinwechi. Dominic.
They drop it here, but maybe they keep it in other places.
All right.
I know Mudiba first. From Newtown, Omudiba
first. Yeah, that's it. Now they are before I cried. Or the FCM.